On a cold autumnal day, I got the train to Northumberland, the most northerly part of England. It's famous for its rich history, incredible architecture, and one of the most stunning coastlines in the country. Thank you for watching my film. You're probably thinking, hang on, you've only done one day of cycling, that's not normally like you. Well, this is why. I've been hearing a clicking noise all day and it's taken me ages to work out what it was. I've gone through everything. I thought maybe it was the cable tension in the derailleur. I thought it was even the panniers that were slapping against the rack. I thought maybe the brakes were rubbing, and after closer inspection, finally I found out what it is. You can see there's a crack in my rim, and it's been getting louder and louder, and yeah, that's just scary. You know, when I'm carrying this much weight and you're going 30-40 miles an hour down the hills. Yeah, well, luckily I spotted it anyway, but having to have a bit of a rethink again. Not having much luck recently, but that's cycling. So I got the train up to Berwick-Upon-Tweed, and you may have noticed in the video that I actually went first class, and that was because as I was booking the trains ages ago, I'd forgotten I'd actually done this. It was an extra £1 to go first class, so I thought, why not treat myself to a bit of luxury. As I arrived in Berwick-Upon-Tweed, it was quite cold and quite rainy. Summer's definitely gone now here in the UK, and I decided to follow National Cycle Network Route 1, which actually runs all the way from the Shetland Islands down to the far east of Kent, so it runs all along the east coast of the UK. I've not done it all, it's quite long, but I have done various bits over my time as a bike packer. The surface on the National Cycle Network at times was not very good. So at some points it didn't even look like a footpath, let alone a cycle path, which made things difficult at times, especially as it had been quite wet that week. So a lot of the road was quite muddy and not very rideable, really. The surface is atrocious. We had a mile of mud and now on a mile of grass. It's terrible. But eventually the sun did come out and I was working my way down to Berwick Castle, and you'll have seen that in the film. It's a beautiful building, really old with a lot of history behind it, but it is very spectacular. I ended up catching a bit of something called the Sandstone Way, which I actually wasn't familiar with, but I bumped into a few cyclists who were doing it and they told me about it. Definitely something to have a look at in the future. Really nice bit of cycling infrastructure, a bit more rideable than the bit I mentioned earlier, and really breathtaking. Now at this point I didn't know about the cracked wheel, so I was enjoying myself heading down to Alnwick, which is where I was going to stay the night. I stayed at the youth hostel, which was really good, really reasonable. I paid a little bit extra and had a cooked breakfast in the morning, but it was really well placed and absolutely perfect for cyclists. They even let me store my bike in a spare room and they locked that for the night, so that was another great thing about it. So I had planned the following day to go to Morpeth and follow some more of the National Cycle Network and take on a little bit more countryside away from the coast. But unfortunately I had the issue with the wheel. I just didn't really want to risk it. I know the crack wasn't a fatal crack, the wheel still was usable, but it wasn't something I particularly wanted to risk. So in the end I cycled to Alnmouth, about 4 or 5 miles away from the hostel, and got the train back from there. So I was a little bit disappointed. I've not had a great deal of luck recently. 2 bike packing trips in a row now have gone wrong. If you haven't seen the last film I made, you'll never guess what happened. Just click the link at the top of the screen and watch that for yourself. As usual, if you want to go and attempt these adventures that I do, I'll put the links to the routes in the description, so just have a look in that box. They'll all be there for you to download for free. And as usual, if you liked this film, please consider subscribing, click the like button and leave a comment as well. I reply to all comments as best as I can, and it really does go a long way to supporting me. I bring out an adventure like that every single month, so stay tuned. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.